I can't hear you.
Oh, here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Comics on Canes. Oh my goodness, my name is Michael. Yo, Forrest is with me. Okay, before we even get into the game, you know what? I got an apology, Forrest. I got an apology. I kind of attacked a bunch of people on our show the other day. A
Yep.
couple of our listeners. And
hmm
I'm so passionate about the case. I hate when people make certain arguments about them. And you know what? That's not me. So I made my statement. Half of the people were on my side, half of the people were like, yo, you're taking it too far. So if you were you're taking it too far, look, I apologize. But you just can't say stupid stuff on this show. See, now I'm turning back into it again for us.
Yeah.
See, I'm turning back. You just can't say stupid stuff on the show without me wanting to say something back to you. Okay? I'm not a reporter. I don't have to be PC. You say something stupid in my comments, I'm going to let you know it's stupid. But I will try to be more politically correct. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've never seen the podcast, welcome. The other people know exactly what I'm talking about.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Um,
The other thing I need to apologize before I get to Forrest, I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a blowout. And let me tell you, it could have been, and I'll explain why. Go ahead, Forrest. How are you? How do you feel today? The Almost Instant Reaction podcast. How are you feeling today?
the semi-instant reaction.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Well, I still feel relieved. You've been going on about the PTSD and stuff, and so I really was like, you know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction. 42-6, I think was my final score. We know that wasn't the score. And I don't know. I'm glad they won. A lot of bad things happened in the game for Miami, but they won because they're a different team. So,
I mean, can we be honest?
Yeah.
In the past, they would have lost this game.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. They wouldn't even like, okay, when they went up by 10, Virginia Tech went up by 10, and I think it was 12 or 10 minutes, something, it was in the fourth quarter.
It was 34-24, I think, something like that.
Yeah, the time left, though, I want to say it was either.
It was like 11-12 left. I think it was like 11 minutes, 12 seconds left.
Yeah. There's no way I would have just been like, I at least was like, well, we have a shot because I know what we have on this team. I wasn't feeling great about it, but I was like, we have a shot. We haven't stopped them all night, but we have a shot, And then the plays that were made, obviously, Restrepo, 4th and 3, catching on his back. I mean, that's like, you look back at seeing how this season goes, depends how the season goes, but that'll be one of those plays you look back on. You're like, that's a season-saving play.
Before we get into individual plays, I just want to get your take, and then we'll break down the play.
Sure. Yeah. No. But anyways, relieved. I'm relieved. Even 2 days later, I was thinking about this morning, and I was like, man, what a disaster that would have been. But we beat him. We
won. I was very upset I couldn't watch the game, the end of the game. I was shooting my comedy special in Phoenix, and thank you for everybody that came out at Tempe, Arizona. I was shooting it there, so I couldn't live. I was telling my father-in-law, I said, I wish I could have went through that 6 to 10 minutes of waiting for the response, but I might have caught a heart attack too, because, I mean, just knowing the way they won.
Yeah.
And not experiencing it, I felt like I was cheated, but look, I had to shoot a comedy special, and it was amazing. Now, I will say this. I will start breaking down the game. If any of y'all want to jump in the comments, if you got any questions, if you got any takes, we love your takes. This is live. We're reading your comment. If somebody leaves a comment right now, I'll read it. I'll put it on the screen. I will say this. Look, a lot of people are already, man, I got so many thoughts. Let's start with 14-7 Miami. We are driving. He tries to throw a little fade route to Restrepo X in the corner, gets picked off, right?
Yep.
I am telling you now, if they score right there, they roll. Virginia Tech, in their minds, would have been like, we can't win this game. I think it would have been a totally different out. If they scored that touchdown, it wouldn't have been close. I really believe that. I know it's hard to say, well, you never know. Well, I really feel that. I think that was the moment where it became where Virginia Tech, because remember, Virginia Tech turned around and scored, and it was 14-14. And I think that when you score 2 scores against another, it gives you some kind of confidence. And let's be honest, the Virginia Tech quarterback played out of his mind. That's the best game he's going to play all year. And some people have great games against Miami. This was his great game. His cousin was playing, Cam Ward, or his whatever he is, Cam Ward.
His cousin.
He did. It was just the first 4 games were horrendous for this man. He showed out. Good for him. Good for Drone. He showed out. He did his thing.
He had a quarterback rating somewhere in the mid-40s before this game, like before the game. Yeah. So, and I said that, I think, going in, and, we talked about it with a couple of our guests. They had some really good edge rushers, and they definitely showed up in the game and made problems for us. But the thing that was the most disturbing on defense, like the secondary had a lot of problems, but we kind of knew that, like, that's going to be some learning curves there because there's younger players there and, less experience. But 6.4 a carry rushing is not what I expected at all.
No.
For Virginia Tech.
Let me throw this comment up there.
Yeah.
Six Moss says that. Oh, yeah. So the reason why they had to go to Restrepo is because JG caught a touchdown pass. That wasn't a penalty. Markel Bell did not push that man down. So, I mean, can we say just the referees horrendous this game on both sides?
Yeah, which is funny when we get to the end of it. It'll be fun because everyone was like thinking they threw us a bone. I'm like, since when have referees helped us? Like,
never.
Yeah.
Miami ACC refs do not help Miami. So
ever.
I felt like if I was watching this real time, I would have been like, they lost because we never get calls.
Yeah.
Never get calls.
I didn't think it was coming back because don't we have 4K now, by the way, when they're doing the replay? I'm like, why can I not see the ball? Like we should be able to see everything crystal clear at this point on replays.
But I know.
Like, it's 2024. But I did say, like, okay, I know you're not allowed to be touching a person out of bounds, and he was touching 2 people out of bounds. It didn't look like he ever had full control of it, but I still thought they were going to come back because they called it a touch on the field for some weird reason after they deliberate. It had the shades of Ohio State where they were like, they made no call, and then they're like, touchdown. And then I was like, what? Like, what?
Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It wasn't a catch. They called it a touchdown.
Yeah.
But then when it went to replay, the right call would have been, and I'm a Miami fan, but if they went by the rules, they can't overturn it because they don't have enough evidence. And if there's not enough, if they had enough evidence, it wouldn't have took 6 minutes.
Yeah.
The problem was they knew they messed up. Yeah. So they had to do 2 wrongs to make it right. You know how we say 2 wrongs don't make it right? This time they did. They basically called the wrong thing, and then they had to break their own rule to correct that problem.
Yeah.
So they were in a no-win situation because they saw the dude didn't have control, or even if he fell on people that were out of bounds, or a guy had his hand on the ball with them when they went down, and that guy was out of bounds. So the ball's dead. So they saw this and then was like, yo, we're not supposed to overturn this because we could easily say there's not enough evidence. But there was enough evidence to a certain point. So they corrected their problem. That's what I said. They made 2. If you want to not be a Kane fan or a Virginia Tech fan and just be outside, right? They made 2 bad calls. Overturning it and, first calling a touchdown and then overturning it. To me, because they didn't really have enough evidence to do it, because it wouldn't have took 6 minutes if they did. But once we got new camera angles, and maybe they had those camera angles, you saw the dude never had control.
Yeah. By the way, also, so I had a show. We had Friday night's not a good time for games for us because we're comics. So I go on stage. And it is 21-7, I believe, Virginia Tech, or 21.
No, it would have been 21-14.
20-14. Sorry, yeah. And I go, all right, I'm going to get off stage. They're going to be up. It's going to be no problem. I get off stage, and it's 27-17. I'm like, okay. And I go to I was going to try and drive to the stadium, like I said, catch the 4th quarter. I thought I was just going to catch, couple like the four stringers in there or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not driving. I'm in Boca Raton. I'm not driving the stadium. I can't listen to it on the radio. There's a bar right next door, and they had like music playing, so you could see it, but you couldn't hear it, right? And they weren't putting up when they were doing that replay. First they didn't say if they called the touchdown or not. Then they said touchdown. Then I was like, are they reviewing it? Are they reviewing it? I don't know if they're reviewing it because they didn't really make that super clear to the point where one of my friends left the bar. I didn't know that. And then when we won, I go, where's Jay? I called him. He goes, that sucked. We lost. I'm like, no, we won.
Yeah, I mean, but if you were listening to the game, they made that very clear right after the call.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they were like, "Yo, we're reviewing this."
I'm
Y'all,
telling you where my brain and my heart was in my throat. I'm like, what is going on? I'm at a bar. I'm like, why is the sound not on? It was like a music bar. That's why. But they had a giant television. I'm like, can we not listen to this? Are we not in Miami? But yeah. So it was that was a long 10 minutes, but man, that was fun after. But
Cronky Kane says that was stressful. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what all of that stands for.
I wish I could have lived that moment with you Kane fans, but I was on stage as well.
And I knew you were on stage.
Just watching it. It was stressful just watching it. Go ahead.
And I knew you were shooting your special, and it took me everything to resist. I'm like, I am not texting Michael at any point during this because I didn't want to I didn't know where you were.
Let me tell you something, Forrest.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not texting.
This game was played earlier.
Yeah.
And I had to go on after the ending of that game. I would have been messed up.
Yeah.
My emotions were as soon as I got off stage, Forrest, shooting my special. This is a huge special. You got 9 cameras. The first question I asked when I got off, did we win?
Yeah.
That's all I cared about. Of course, I did a great special, but I was like, did we win? Did we win? Now, I want to talk about, and I'm seeing this a lot now. First 4 games, nobody questioned our offensive line. Defense, nobody questioned it. We had 22 missed tackles this game, or 21 missed tackles. The 4 games before us, we had 22 missed tackles or something like that combined. We had 21 this game. Well, now I'm starting to see certain Miami fans that I kind of attacked last week coming out saying, oh, see, we're not as good as we thought we were. Now, I want to say this. I think Drones played out of his mind. You will never see him play like that again. That team, you got to realize when people play us this year, because of Cam Ward being a Heisman nominee or will be a Heisman nominee, and this right here, everybody wants to throw it in our face. Everybody wants to do it because we do that to them. It's their Super Bowl, man. It's the Super Bowl for them, and they're going to come. They're going to come. And I think this is a good, this is a good loss. I mean, this is a good win because really you lost a lot during the game. You lost, like, I believe if you're the defense, you're like, yo, what's happening to us over and over and over again? So now you're like, oh, we're not as good as we thought we were. Let's go back in the lab and let's get great again. Cam Ward made a lot of mistakes. But he's the type of player, and Forrest is a person that said this earlier in the show. You never felt like me. I never felt like they were going to lose. Even when I went on stage and they were down by 10, like third quarter, I was like, oh, they're still going to win. We've never had that feeling in the last 23 years. So you feel like you still going to win. No matter what the score, you feel like, oh, we're going to win. We're going to pull this out. And I haven't had that feeling in 23 years. Now people are throwing Carpenter, the center, under the bus. They're throwing the line, certain players on the line under the bus. And yeah, they didn't play great. But is this, and I want to get your take on this for us, was this just a bad game? Or do you think there's glaring holes now?
No, I don't think there's glaring holes. I think it was a bad game. But by the way, I'm just going to create, it's 13 missed tackles, just so you know, and 16 quarterback pressures, which is bananas. But for Virginia Tech, I think it was just a bad game. I think there are holes. I think we talked about. I think going in the season, everyone said the secondary is going to be, they're not going to be like ready made, to go. There's going to be a learning curve, and you saw that big time in this game with an inferior quarterback. Like not really a quarterback.
But you're saying, but let's be honest. You're saying an inferior quarterback, but he played out of his mind. Every quarterback can have.
He played great. He played great. That's what I'm getting to.
That day, he was a great quarterback. He may have been inferior. I mean, he may have been trash the 4 games before. He was great that game.
That's what I'm getting to.
Like that, I don't know.
But but that's what I'm getting to. So, but what I think happened in this game, I mean, Virginia Tech played at a really high level, and we didn't play to where we should be playing. If you even see at the end of the game, Cam and Drones, when he comes and they like go, you thought there was gonna be like an embrace of like, hey,
oh no, Drones was mad.
No, he was mad, and you could tell like this was his championship. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it, and they just let that slip away, because they had the lead and they had a shot at the end. But also, I think that Miami I don't care what you say with social media now. You hear all the hype. You read everything online. You think you're the best in the world. Hey, we're number whatever in scoring. We're number whatever in defense. Cam Ward's the number one in the Heisman, and I don't care. They're still kids. They're still in college. And when you come in and you see you're a 19-point favorite against a team, we're never a 19-point favorite against like a rival like that. Yeah. I think they just came in loose, and then it's hard to catch up to that. They eventually did and were able to win the game, but Virginia Tech came in running at speed 10, and we were like at 2-3, and then we were like, oh shit, like they were yeah. So
I agree. I think it was I'm gonna chalk it up to bad game. Until I see it a couple times, I'm gonna say it's a bad game. I mean, I'm not even gonna look.
We scored 38 points.
Hold on one second. I'm not the type of person that's gonna throw our defense and offensive lines. Even though a lot of them were cramping up, I'm not gonna throw them under the bus. I need to see it a couple of times, not just the first time. Even our defensive backfield, they played lights out the last 4 games, and I believe there's a couple plays that was like when OJ got called for pass interference, that wasn't pass interference. Look, there are calls that Virginia went Virginia's way and our way. Let's be the officials were horrible, absolutely horrible. I do want to say this: we are live right now. If you have a question, we got a lot of people watching. If you got a question, if you got a comment, we'll throw up on the screen and we'll talk about it. This podcast is your podcast. Please, if you're watching right now, leave a comment. Ask us a question. What were you going to say for us?
We still scored 38 points against a team that hadn't given up more than 30 like all season. And
why is your camera going in and out?
You mean like the
yeah, you're fading in and out.
I don't know. Maybe because I took my glasses off.
I think it was. I think that was it.
I ordered no glare glasses because I realized these just like reflect and stuff, but they haven't gotten here yet. So that's why I took them off for a second.
Look at this. Portis for president said Cam played amazing, but VT QB belt. Yeah, Drones played out of his mind. You will not see that again from Drones this year. Yeah, I would be shocked if you see him play that well again.
And like I said, we still scored 38 points. There was amazing plays, especially in that fourth quarter. I mentioned obviously the catch for Shrevedet on his back, but that play where Cam gets out of 2 sacks basically, and then just flips it to Riley Williams, but not like just that's how just another person making a play and goes down the sideline, and then we punch in. It was like, wow, okay, but I
mean that's you realize that's the play that when Cam Ward is in New York, they're going to run that play over and over and over again.
Yeah,
that's a highlight reel. Let me tell you the biggest play to me. The biggest play to me was Arroyo chasing down that dude for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's going on.
They didn't score. They may have got a field goal, but they didn't score a touchdown that drive. I don't believe.
No,
correct me if you're watching this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But Arroyo running 60 to 70 yards. This dude got clocked at 20 miles per hour, and he's 245 pounds.
Yeah.
That just shows. You know what that shows? That shows you culture right there. That shows you everything you want in a Miami player. He tracked down a dude from the opposite end of the field. Man, Arroyo, if I had a trophy to give out this week or a belt, a championship belt or something like a player of the game belt, it would have been Arroyo. Because please correct me if I'm wrong. We got a lot of people watching. They didn't score a touchdown that drive, where if he didn't show up, they would have, because they had 3 guys in front of this dude. Am I wrong in saying that? He saved the touchdown. But Portis for president, did they score after that? Did they score a field goal or did they try the field goal and they faked it and we stopped it? What happened after that? But I know for sure he saved a touchdown, but I don't know if they scored a touchdown on that drive or was it a field goal? If it was just a field goal, that was huge. That was huge.
I'm pretty sure they still scored a touchdown after that because after both interceptions, by Ward, they scored. There's a punt here, but that's not it.
That's true. We got another comment. Leroy Lewis said Tootin killed it. Tootin, man. And let's be honest. Our linebackers, I love Kiko. Kiko's the man, but I'm sure Kiko would tell you he didn't play great this because that one where he broke up the middle, it was one-on-one, Kiko and him. And Tootin won those battles several times. And I'm sure Kiko will tell you that. I love Kiko. He's a beast. But he just got outplayed. He got outplayed that game, but Tootin was amazing.
They went out on downs on that. It was 27-7. It was 27-17. He made the tackle. Then on fourth down, they went for it because they were deep in our territory and they went on down. So that was a huge play.
Yeah, they tried the fake field goal and it got stuck.
Yeah, somebody. LA Rowe just mentioned that was the stuff field goal.
That's how big that was.
Yeah, it was massive.
Arroyo is the player of the game because if they would have went up, would have been
34-17 it would have been.
Man, that's a different ball game right there. That one play, Arroyo represented the new Miami culture that you wouldn't have gotten in the past. Hey, man, thank you for all the comments, man.
JT Nickelback, too. Everyone was saying that's the fake field goal. Yeah, so thanks for coming in with it.
Any comment you want to leave, please leave it. Ask us question, be a part of the show. I do want to give a big shout out to X. Dude played lights out. Lights out. I mean, I can't believe 2 years ago, people were questioning this man for even being on the team. They were like, we need to put Brashad Smith. By the way, he had an amazing game for SMU. Over 100 yards, 15 carries. Way to go, Brashad Smith. But I was always, man, how are you gonna even make that argument against X? To me, it's just ridiculous. Like he catches everything. That one on his back, all the corner routes. I mean, on the sideline in front of Michael Irvin. I mean, this dude is a beast. A beast, man. He's getting drafted. He's going to play for someone.
Here's a question. I was watching the game with my buddy, and my friend said to me, and like when we were down by 10 late in the game, he said, well, there goes Cam's Heisman, right? And I said, well, we'll see what ends. Throws 2 touchdowns, finishes with 4 touchdowns. When they have that goal to go on the 2, and they throw great play call to Horton. I mean, it was well designed. And I still was thinking that they're thinking of the Heisman there. I think so. Because they can easily run it in there for 2 yards. I mean, I know they weren't really running much there. They had plenty of time to try that, but I don't know.
Well, the run game.
That's just a thought when I'm watching it, huh?
I believe they only had like 32 yards or 30-something yards in the first half rushing, and then they wound up with 150 or 160 yards rushing.
165 total, yeah.
So they ran for 130 yards, and they needed that in the second half for balance to open up these windows for the receivers. But that's why, where a lot of people on these boards are dogging the offensive line, but they're like, 130 yards second half. I mean, come on. Yes, Cam got a lot of pressure. And they got to fix that. I wonder look, we got some people that I played college ball, but not to that level, of course. I wonder how it is for a team smacking 4 teams in a row and just playing, because I don't think Virginia Tech's a great game. I tweeted, I put it on X right after the game. We played like a sub-average ACC team. I mean, we played like an average ACC team on Saturday. We didn't play good at all. And I think they're way better than that. And I even said, I still think they go 12-0. I think this was just a horrible game. And this was the game for Miami to get beat. And they didn't. And that's even scarier to me because Miami's in a position where they should lose this game. They won it. Now their mind's right. And they're going to come back. And I think they're going to roll over Cal. And I think this changes the trajectory. And this is good for them to have close games. We got some comments.
I'll go ahead, yeah.
We got some comments coming in. Portis for president. Multiple, yes. A lot of missed tackles. I think Forrest said 13 missed tackles.
Yeah, 13. Yep. I would go ahead 3 of his own, and he never misses tackles.
Yeah.
So, lots of quarterback pressure. The secondary really. Look, I think the run defense is an aberration. I think in the missed tackles, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again.
I think the O-line can play better. I'm worried about the secondary because it wasn't like the quarterback Jones was making plays, true, but even that last touchdown, like it's like he was wide open in the end zone. I'm like, that can't happen at that point in that game. They didn't make a play down the stretch.
But is that the one where he was scrambling?
Scrambling, it wasn't that long. It wasn't like it was a long.
Yeah, but I mean, when a quarterback's on the run, it's different, man. It just opens up windows. Like look, no, okay. I think a lot of people following the narrative at the beginning of the season, our secondary is not going to be good. So this is something they can jump on because the first four games they didn't say any. I need to see it a couple of games. This is the first game they play bad. Now, if they go to Cal and do the same, now I'm like, okay, let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion about this. But I will say this. I want to talk about running backs real quick. And you know what I'm going to say, Forrest? A.J. Allen only went in twice. Didn't get the ball at all. That means he has to stay the rest of the season, which I think is a good decision because this is his 5th game. I think it's a great decision. This team is special because you don't want to sit around for the whole season either. But I do think it's very sad they're not using him. Because to me, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I've been watching Damian Martinez for 4 weeks, since the beginning of the season. And I think still he's going to be great at the end of the season when teams are worn down. If there's not a hole, he can't run. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, every running back, there's not. No. Because some players are good. If it's not a huge hole, they'll find something. They're explosive. Even Mark Fletcher looks more explosive through the hole than Damian Martinez. Now, once Damian Martinez picks up speed, when he busted off that 17-yard run, I'm like, yo, that's when he looks good. But right now, Miami, if you're not opening holes, you got to put in A.J. Allen or Lyle. Or I think Chris Johnson's a little bit too light. Like he's great on sweeps and stuff. But you got to go with speed. You got to go with quickness. And everybody on the boards, some people defend. They go, well, the blocking, the protection. He wasn't getting protected by the line this game. You need to break in. And look, second half, they did great, 130 yards. But there's just no explosiveness in that backfield right now. And maybe Mario doesn't want that. But there is a combination of explosiveness and strength. And you got that in the back. I think it's in A.J. Allen. And I'm gonna keep saying it. And I'm not saying A.J. Allen start. I'm not saying be second. Just play him more. Just give him the rock. Why can't you give him the rock? You put him give him the rock?
When you say that, though, they scored. I think they punted twice in this game. They either scored or turned it over. It wasn't like they couldn't move the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's not like A.J. Allen's going to come in there and then they're not going to throw interceptions and fumble the ball, right? And the blocking is key. He's pressured 16 times. They had 3 sacks, only 3 sacks in the 16 pressures. If you don't have like a bigger back, like a Damian Martinez or Fletcher that's actually blocking, and you have A.J. Allen, he's going to get lit up, and he is the prize.
A.J. Allen is bigger than Lyle. And Lyle's in.
I didn't say Lyle. I'm saying Fletcher. I'm saying Fletcher Martinez because you're saying.
Well, they played Lyle. What's your Lyle bigger than A.J. Allen? So that argument it makes no sense for us.
No, what you were saying Martinez and Fletcher. That's all I'm talking about. You kept talking about Martinez.
No, but I'm saying they played Lyle a lot. And look, I don't hate Lyle. Lyle's good, but I'm just saying I don't understand why A.J. Allen's not playing. And now I see on the boards everybody's about A.J. Allen. I've been screaming before the season even started. I don't understand why they're not playing this man. I don't understand. It's just every time. Dude has the highest carry average. He only carried the ball 17 times.
I'm telling you, it's because what I'm telling. I'm looking at this right now. 39 snaps for Martinez, 23 snaps for Fletcher, 5 for Lyle, 2 for Allen, 6 for Johnson. Okay. Right. So they're playing those guys because you're protecting the Heisman Trophy leader, front runner, the guy that if he goes down, we're screwed. You know, and in that game with all these pressures are happening, that's why A.J. Allen didn't see nearly as many snaps and any touches because they said we have to keep him in. Yeah.
So what we're saying for us, and we don't know because we're not at practice, A.J. Allen can't block at all.
I don't know that.
That's what it seems like the narrative is without me being there. He's just a terrible blocker.
I don't know that. This is me guessing.
But this is an educated guess. Am I wrong in saying because he's explosive when he runs the ball?
Yeah, I'll put it in Google. I'll see what happens. AJ Allen blocking.
He must be a terrible blocker.
Let's see if anything comes up.
That's the only explanation I can see. All right, let's JT Nickelbag says 70 Bell did not hold that he didn't hold on Georgia. And if George would have scored that touchdown, they would have been up 21-7. And I'm telling you, that game would have been totally different. It would have been a blowout. Would have been a blowout. We got some more comments coming in. Horton and Brown keep getting better. See, you people were crapping on excuse me, let me take this up. You people were crapping on Brown. He's starting to come around. He's starting to come around. I like Brown, man. I like him. I like Brown. I like all the receivers, man. I didn't like George though when he got that personal foul because he spun the ball in the end zone, acting like he'd never been there before. That's the thing. Act like you've been there. Act like you've been there before because you have. You've been there several times. Why you got to show out like that? Then you get a penalty. And I'm glad Mario got in his ass because this is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like the dude's not learning. I don't understand. Like I would play Horton instead of him. Be honest with you, I would. That's me. That's me though. Oh, my mic's messing up. Okay, what do we got? Cuban Kane run blocking needs. It's true. It does. It does. But we've been saying that for 4 games. But I don't think it's atrocious like everybody's saying right now. We're saying this is how spoiled Miami Hurricane fans are. How much they rush for? 160 something.
165 last game.
What was our average last year?
170, somewhere in the 170s.
Yeah, 170. Yeah. All right. So we ran like last year, a little bit less. So it wasn't a
we also had
game.
to throw. We had to throw at the end of
the
game.
We had to throw.
Yeah.
We were in a shootout. So we did 160 something yards, 130 of that, or 20 something of it was in the second half. They did this. I don't know, man. It's just the game was different this week. But I don't know, man. I'm not going to jump on their case yet. Cal, game day is going to Cal. If Cal was undefeated, this would be amazing. But they're not. Who they look? Didn't they lose? Oh, they lost to Florida State.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you something. And I don't like to, because a lot of times today we compare teams. If a team loses to somebody, they're not going to be like that with you. They're going to be like that with you. That's not true. But I'm expecting an ass whooping. I'm expecting Miami to put the ass whipping on Cal, especially since game day's there. Because we dropped the spot. We went from 7 to 8. And I think this is the week where Cam, game day, Miami's back. That's what everybody says. Is Miami back? Well, you're about to see. And I think Cal is going to be great.
Let me just say a couple things there. We dropped in the rankings. Do you know that, right?
Yeah, I just said that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say.
Yeah.
But Cal's defense is ranked 12th nationally. And I know you're going to say, they only didn't play anybody. They played Florida State, San Diego State, Auburn, UC Davis. These are not FAMUs. You know what I'm saying? They played real schools and their defense is for real. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying we're not going to beat them by a lot. I think us having this close call with Virginia Tech helps us. We still got to fly across the country. These kids are still going to be playing until 1 a.m. East Coast time, you know.
Man, boys, you're making it sound like the team is like our age. They're kids, man. What are you talking about? When I was 18, 19, I would stay out to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, man, partying. I hate this argument where they're like, it's going to be late for that. They're kids. Stop it with it's going to be late. They're kids, Forrest.
Do you know how much easier partying is than playing football?
40 and 50 years old, that's different, Forrest. If they were our age, that's different. They're 18 to 22 years old, except that other dude that's like 174. But besides him, it's a young team. Stop with it's late argument, Forrest.
Partying is easy. That's why you party, because it's easy. Playing football is hard. Partying is the easiest thing you can do.
These are kids, man. I hate when I hear that argument, man. I hate it. It's just like, stop.
Right.
Stop.
All right.
Have you ever played? Hey, Forrest, have you ever played a sport on a team?
Yeah.
And when you started the game, did it matter what time it was?
I'd never played at 1 a.m. So
it's not 1 a.m, Forrest.
It will be.
It's 10:30. I played football. It doesn't matter what. Once you're on that field, your adrenaline's going. You get hit. You're in the game, man. It can be at 4 a.m. Once you get that first hit, it's on. Oh, I hate that. Ward did have 57 yards. Yes, that is true, of the 160. So really, they only ran for 100 and something. So let's see what this says. The thing is, our run game keeps on showing up in the last half. We can't have that, especially with close games, with teams that have explosive run games. We can't have that. Thanks, Sage X. I'm really hoping Bain and Rivers is back. Rivers, I hope both of them come back. They will when it's ready. But this team is good enough to not need them right now.
Yeah, but I thought Bain was supposed to be back for Virginia Tech, so I don't know what's going on there. Like, you know, and they were like, oh, he'll be back for ACC play, Virginia Tech, and he's not. So,
but look at the comfort Miami has. I think you're like, I know they don't want to say they're going to win big, but I really feel they're to the point where, like, if none of the main line gets hurt right now, let's take our time on Bain. Let's get him right. This is going to be an NFL draft pick one day. You don't have to rush him back. It's not like last year when Bain was out there, and if he left the game, we would all be like, oh no, he's the only one we got. And he wore down towards the end of the year. I think this is going to be a long year. This is going to be playoffs. They're saving players. Why play Bain if you don't need to? Get him in football shape. Cal is good, or the next game. You don't need to rush players back anymore. They got so much depth. You know, yes, we got ran on this week. It was a bad week. But until I see it like another time, or maybe 2 or 3 times, like this time, one more time, and maybe another time, then I'll start questioning it. If they get run over like that Tootin did this week again, then that's a problem, because I believe Cal has a good running back, right, Forrest?
Yeah, they're Barrow. I don't know where you stand with Barrow and the injury right now. You know, so so we'll see. I know we're deep. That's fine.
Is Barrow hurt now?
He got injured in the game. I don't know how bad they don't usually. That usually be tomorrow or something.
I think he only played like 23 snaps or something like that.
Yeah. Javian Thomas is running back for Cal. Is that what you're asking?
Is he pretty good? I think so.
Yeah, they're not an offensive juggernaut though. This team, they're a defensive team. You know, they've scored some points here and there, but they're 23rd in the. They're tied for 101st in the country in points at 23 a game. So they're not putting up big numbers. What they're based on is they want ball control and their defense. They're average 12.8 points a game, 12th in the country. Very good. And they, like I said, they played real schools. They're not, these aren't, So, I think it's going to be tougher than, this Virginia Tech game is going to make it like where you got
the PTSD again. It's coming back.
I tried. I said 42-6. Yeah. I tried. You even said it was a bold prediction. I was like, all right, I hope they win 42-6. And I was like, well, that's out the window immediately in this game.
Well, let me tell you, I think the whole thing is, can you think Miami? I mean, to me, that was Miami, the worst they could play. Do you think that?
No, I think they can play worse than that, because they scored 38 points and they came back and they won. So they can play worse than that for sure. But
that's my point. They played horrendous.
Yeah.
And they scored 38 points. You think a team like Cal that doesn't score is going to, even if they play bad, they're going to score 35 and up on you. So you got to score with, that's the thing that's great about Miami. You got to score with them. Frankie Xavier says this team never gave up. And that's something we couldn't say about the past Miami teams. This game gave me flashbacks of the 1984 Doug Flutie Hail Mary. I'm too old for this kind of, tell me about it.
That's that's what I thought of. I literally was thinking that, because and it wasn't even really a Hail Mary, 30 something yards, but it's still a long. But that's all I was thinking too. I was like, if we have another one of these stain our record for Miami, one of these like last minute catches, can't do it.
All right, Forrest, go over some stats and then we'll get out of here. Remember, everybody watching, we do this every Wednesday. A new podcast will come out. We'll talk about the Cal game day, and all that cool stuff. It drops Wednesday at 3:05. Make sure you subscribe and like. But I do want to go over some numbers before we get out. Anything that stands out with the numbers?
Well, negative. Let's start with that. Tootin, their running back, who I'm sure you remember from the game, 19 carries, 141 yards, 7.4 carry touchdown. He ripped off that 55-yard run. It's like that is concerning. They had 206 yards rushing. That's concerning. Somehow Drones only threw for 189. It felt like he threw for 300, honestly, but I guess he just made him count, his throws.
Yeah.
So, and then here's important numbers as far as the Heisman is. Cam Ward finished 24 of 38, 343, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Did have a fumble as well, but also ran for 57 yards and a touchdown. So, he accounted for 5 touchdowns. Did have the 3 turnovers, but I still think that puts him at the top of the Heisman race, especially what happened with Jackson Dart in Mississippi. We'll talk about that when we talk to Kelsey later in the week. I'm sure she's upset. But
and I did say if there was one upset, it would be that, because Mark Stoops is all about defense.
Now, Kentucky's nasty. They're nasty. They're nasty. What are the 16 quarterback pressures? That's way too many. We can't have that. And the 3 turnovers, all by Cam Ward, the fumble and the 2 picks.
Yeah,
that's and he's been a little bit loose in some of these games, and that's what makes him great too, because he's not making that pitch to Riley Williams if he's not that guy, and that's not.
Yeah, he is that guy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you kind of live and die with that, but in the end, he still came out on top of the hero. And the numbers that we already went over, the stuff that was the missed tackles, the 13 missed tackles, unacceptable. Here's one, by the way. Here's another one, by the way. Just we didn't even mention this, but these little things for you to win, right? Borregales, longest field goal of his career, 56 yards. Hits 5 of 5 for extra points, but every point in this game was needed. He hits that 56-yard field goal as a record, and that's no small feat in college, as you know. Their guy hit a 57-yarder too, but man, it's just like, so a lot of things happen in the game, just kind of like that Arroyo play that you said. It's those little things where you win these games. You make the long.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
You know what that's culture.
Yeah.
That's Arroyo chasing down that dude. Man, when Manny Diaz, and he's 5-0, I hope he's undefeated and plays Miami undefeated. That would be so funny to me. But anyway, Miami back when Manny was coaching, and the player Arroyo would have never ran across the field. He would have stopped and just watched.
That's all over the internet, by the way, right now. That's
I know, and that is my player of the game, Arroyo, for that play, because they didn't score. If Virginia Tech goes up 34-17 right there, I still would have believed, because Cam Ward gives us hope to the end of the game, where we haven't had that in 22 years. And that's my whole point of this podcast today. He may have played bad at points, but I never felt watching this game we were going to lose, or we always had a chance to win, because we got a great quarterback now. And it's so great to have that feeling that you're always in the game, always in the game. And Miami, to me, that was the worst game they will play this year. The worst. I know they're going to clean up the tackling, because if they would have just not missed those 13 tackles, or even if the tackles were 2, I know Kiko, he's hungry. He's going to clean it up, because that Tootin man one-on-one made him look bad that game. But Kiko is a warrior, and he will come back. He will come back, man. He will come back. All right.
One more stat that you don't want to see is 1 tackle for Elijah Arroyo, 1 tackle for Riley Williams, 1 tackle for Cam Ward. Those are stats we don't want to see either.
No, you never want to see where your tight ends are making tackles.
Your quarterback is making a tackle.
And your quarterback.
Cam Ward, if you are listening, which I don't think he's listening to this pub, I hope he is, please don't try to make any more tackles.
No. Unless
like,
they're going for a touchdown. Yes, make tackles.
I don't know.
He's going to be fine, man. He's going to be fine. It's God's plan. God's plan. Like X says, call God. So. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Wednesday, 3:05, we dropped a new episode about Cal. We'll be breaking down how my boy Mark Stoops put the beat down on Ole Miss and how he did it. You know what? I want to get Mark Stoops on our show. because he was a defensive back coach in 2001. I doubt he could do it during the season, but I'm gonna get him all season.
We'll probably talk about the Alabama-Georgia game for a minute since it was ridiculous as well.
Dude, that was the dumbest game I've ever seen. It was so crazy.
That his God, what's his name? The wide receiver, Ryan Williams.
Man,
that guy.
That dude is 17 years old.
That guy. So there's not a lot of players with this Miami team that I look at other teams and I'm like, I want that guy. I want that guy.
That dude playing high school.
That guy is insane. Yeah, insane.
Stop it. All right, guys. Hey, JT, Nico, thank you so much. We'll see you later. Hey, you have a go. Make sure, please, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. It really. When we started this podcast, it's over 900 people today. We need to get to 1,000. Please help us out. Tell some friends about it. We love you guys. I'm sorry, I get really passionate about this. So, but what's great about this podcast, and I'm going to end with this, we're not attached to having to go to press conferences or interviewing players. So we really get to say our thoughts. We're not told what to say by anybody. We say what we want to say, so that's and you guys are listening because of that. And we can be brutal sometimes. But, it is.
I'm surprised we didn't mention Michael Irvin, by the way. But anyways.
Oh, Michael Irvin. Go back to Colorado. I love you, Michael Irvin. But I'm just disgusted that you've been on the Colorado sideline more than us. And I love seeing you on Miami sideline. But I can't get that Buffalo taste out of my mouth.
He was on the side. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I love his passion, man. But I just hate that he would go to Dion's show where it's Florida State guy.
Yeah.
And hang on their sidelines and give speeches. That Buffalo don't taste right.
Oh, did you? Let me say this real quick. They were interviewing Cam Ward in the locker room after the thing, and it goes, God, I wish I remember the exact thing, but they said, how cool is it to have Michael Irvin and here on the sideline and like all the memories you must have of him? And he goes, honestly, I don't have a lot of memories of him. Because he wasn't even trying to diss him. He's like, dude, he's old. I don't
wait. I missed that. My wife just texted me. What'd you say?
They were interviewing Cam Ward in the locker room and on 560 WQAM when I was driving home, I was listening to it. And they said, how cool is it to have someone like Michael Irvin it was something like that you have all these memories of. I'll find the exact clip. And he was like, honestly, it was cool to have him, but I don't have any memories of him. It's like, yeah, he wasn't born yet, dude.
You weren't even born yet, bro.
Yeah. It was a very funny clip. He's like, okay, cool.
All right, great. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Remember, hit that sub button. We love you. And we'll see you Wednesday, 3:05 Eastern time. We drop a new podcast. Cal, we'll talk game day, and we'll talk about some other football from other conferences that happen. All right, peace.